I don't know how I feel about that ending because it was both frustrating, annoying. Like, what was that ending? I don't know whether this is a bad ending or a good ending. It's more like a bad neutral ending, if anything, I should say. I did kill quite a bit, mostly a lot of the bosses. I killed a robot, Axis, I believe, and I killed Star. That's it, Starlo. And I wanted to do neutral first, just to see if I spared some, if I killed some, what would it look like? Well, doesn't look much. But compare this ending, this neutral ending to the neutral in Undertale, that one makes me determined to go back. Undertale neutral made me want to go back and get pacifist almost immediately, like very, very quickly. This one though, I'm not so sure. In fact, in a way, I kind of want to go back and kill everyone just to see how bad everything is. The thing with it being a pacifist is that neither are actually canon, isn't it? Genocide is definitely not canon. I definitely don't think genocide is canon. If it's pacifist, which one of these endings leads to Undertale? You know, the first one. Because this is a prequel. But usually it's just neutral, different kinds of neutral, and then there's pacifist, and then there's Geno. I definitely don't think it's Geno. I did enjoy playing this game, albeit the gameplay is much, much more challenging. Man, Flowey over there was just... At least I got through it without changing the difficulty. That said, though, I'm not sure if I want to go back, at least not in any time soon, and do a pacifist or a Geno route, because this ending left a bad taste in my mouth. But compared to Undertale Vanilla or Origin, where that one is like left a bad taste on me emotionally, it's like, oh man, that was not good. I want to go back and save everyone. It was more like an emotional, moral standpoint. Where this one is more like the opposite, which is if I'm gonna go back, I feel like I want to kill everybody. This might piss off a lot of people. The same thing with, because I know how attached maybe you guys really are to some of these characters. But for me, I didn't feel attached to any of the characters. I wasn't attached to Starlo all that much, because at that time in the desert was just to me I felt like a waste of time. I was like, what are we doing here? We're just delving into Starlo's delusion of grandeur of trying to cheer everyone up, and then Axis, which is being annoying, which is trying to chase you down, right? And Martley, which is probably the only character I somewhat cared for. And I was kind of surprised at the end when I was obviously surprised she got killed by Flowey. Should have seen that coming. But also the fact that I think it gave me a bit of a Sans vibe, right? I didn't have to go straight to her, right? I can just go straight up to Asgore. But when she was standing up there, she gave me kind of a Sans vibe. That said, it's not like Mettaton's like the most deep character, but I found him a little bit more entertaining, where Axis is just kind of annoying. So that's my take on it. I want to be attached to these characters. I also want to kill these characters and expect to become attached to these characters. Well, that's the thing, though. When I went to Undertale, I didn't expect to be emotionally attached to them. I didn't expect to like them. This one, though, I went in like feeling neutral, and I wanted to like them. And if I liked them, of course, I wouldn't want to fight them. I mean, I fought Martley, right? Martley. And I spared her, but Axis and Starlo was kind of like just can we go on next, something like that. Did you read Mettaton's journals? I did not. I don't think I remember though. Criticism for this game is a lot of the characters aren't that likable. Yeah, in a way I kind of agree with you, Ass. It's not that these characters are not unlikable. They're just okay. They're more like inoffensive and more just, it's all right, you know, it's okay, you know. They're not terrible characters. It's more like the pacing that I have a problem with. Our goal, same thing with Clover is with Frisk is the same. We're trying to go home. Got it. But Frisk's mission is like, after going through all those different routes, you start to see like, okay, this is how the world is. If I go home, this is going to happen. And if If they go outside, maybe it's kind of like a moral gray ground. This one though, I didn't see all that, people are all that sad or suffering, in my opinion, and in this world. The mines, they had a hot spring, everything. It turns out to be really, really good. Where in Undertale, everyone was like has a bit of happiness, but there's also like, man, I really wish I could see the stars. So we just use these fake stars to imagine that we're outside. I played through Undertale. It changed you. It did. Funny enough, I mean, guilty as charged. I did play through Undertale Geno, and it really did change me. And I didn't really want to play through it, but it was for views, it was for cloud, and it kind of just made me go, whatever. This is what I mean. Like, I don't feel that connected to this game and this world and these characters. If I played this game on its own, this game requires you to play Undertale, the original. And even though the fact that this is a prequel to it, right? I don't know. If I played this game before Undertale, I wouldn't understand half of it. And it wouldn't make me all that excited playing Undertale. Where the opposite is happening, where if I play Undertale first, if I play that, I was like, all right, I get to play more Undertale, Undertale Yellow, and I'm gonna play this. Am I gonna go back and play Geno and Pacifist? Yeah, I would. I really, really would. But right now, I'm really doubting the fact that someone tells me that I got really emotional when I first met Toriel, and then I accidentally killed her because I didn't know the mechanics yet. So for this one, I know the mechanics and I knew everything. I just didn't really care all that much. In my opinion, if I'm looking for a Geno route, because this is neutral, right? Assuming that it's somewhat equivalent of Undertale. The Geno route was probably the hardest. So if I play through this game through Geno route, I think the boss might be incredibly hard. Because I struggled quite a bit with this game. Well, kind of. I died like once or twice to some of the bosses. The only exception, with the exception of course being Flowey. Probably because you killed each character and pulled out your hair at first inconvenience they showed you. Also, you sped through their interactions to learn as little as possible about them. What is this? Night 2 of Sister Location? I guess I can explain it this way then. It's because this game is much longer than Undertale. And because I can't help but, put a side-by-side comparison between this game and original Undertale. Is that Undertale, to me, the pacing was a little bit better, and the characters there was a lot less characters in there, and it was a little bit more focused. I got to know them. I mean, I spent very little time with Toriel in the first time, right? Yet I got quite emotional to her. As for this one though, so I was kind of going to this Undertale Yellow with the same expectations. Especially people were hyping it up. And I just didn't feel as attached as I wanted to be, Yeah. But the music definitely lived up to the hype. I still prefer Undertale original, but the music in this one, still fantastic. Really fantastic. Am I supposed to give it a score? I don't think I should until I actually finish the other routes though. Neutral is supposed to get you an empty feeling. In the original Undertale, it did. Empty, but like, oh man, I gotta go back and correct what I've done. For this one, am I really wanting to go back and correct everything? I'm not as hyped for it, I don't think this is a bad game at all. I think it has a lot of good things. In fact, I would say some of the things that is even better than the original Undertale. But like I said on yesterday's stream, is that people, when you recommend Undertale to someone who has never played Undertale before, usually you'll probably say it's the story and the characters, right? Music is subjective, whatever, but I would assume that's what most people say. I think you really like the characters. I think you really love the world. And so for this one, though, I can't exactly say. The thing that improved upon the original would probably be the gameplay. in which that some of the puzzles and some of the battles are actually very, very fun. But at the same time, I have to say this too: the battles against Flowey and some of the ones seems a little bit too tough, a little bit too random. The yellow fight against the original Flowey fight. If you're talking about just the Flowey fight during neutral, in a way, I kind of agree. Sure, it's definitely more interesting. Is it better than the Asriel fight? I wouldn't call that one a fight because that one is a fight that you cannot lose. So it's not really a comparison. Emotionally, I was definitely, but if you're talking about gameplay wise, yeah, I'd say yellow is probably a little bit better, albeit the difficulty is like way higher. But in terms of emotional, I say it's not there for me personally. But maybe because again, Undertale we played it first, and it's like first dibs, right? You always kind of get more attached to the ones that comes first. That's because that's where everyone compares it to. Meta Flowey? No. I absolutely agree with you. I didn't. If there's one thing I can criticize about Undertale Yellow, it's the music and the some of the designs. They're very, very cool. I thought all the characters looked really, really cool. I thought they were fantastic. Again, it's just because what makes us, or what made me so attached to the original Undertale was really the writing and the characters. And unfortunately, Yellow was not able to exceed that high of a mountain. And it almost got there. It got there, but it's not, it's not terrible, but it's not super close or anything like that. That's just my opinion. You did try out the neutral route? Yeah, no. Gondo, the reason I did the neutral route is because if I was going to this game blind and know nothing about the Undertale, I didn't even know there was a neutral route. There are some characters that I'm gonna kill, either because I was in self-defense or because, and then there are gonna be some people that I'm gonna spare. This is what I did with the original Undertale, and this is how I prefer playing it, But after playing neutral, which left, or in the original, left me with I gotta go back and save everyone. I didn't do that well. It was already too late. This one though, it's more like, am I gonna go back and save Starlo or Axis or Marley? It's like, I'm not. Yeah, but eventually, but not immediately. I'm not in that big of a hurry to save them. So maybe that's why. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Again, it's just the pacing. Some of the pacing in Yellow was just like, I felt like I was wasting my time. I was like, where are you going with this? Because we were at that desert level for so long in those 3 or 4 missions. Because I knew that I was like, we're gonna fight Starlo, isn't it? Aren't we? Everyone had a purpose for the greater good. Everyone has a purpose. Because when you first met Toriel, kind, caring, but you're stuck in the ruins. And then you met Sans and then Papyrus, Royal Guard, trying to keep you away, trying to capture you. And then you get Undy, who's trying to kill you for misunderstanding or for her own purpose. And then Alfie with her messed up research, Menaton and all that stuff. And then you got Asgore. They all serve a purpose in the grand scheme of things, which is we need to get everyone underground onto the surface. In a way. And then some agree, some doesn't, some willing to go to the extremes, some are not. Where this one, I have a hard time understanding, like, where does Martley does fit into that. She's a royal guard, but does Starlo or anything, where do they fit into that category of, like, I need to keep this kid here, or I need to take this kid to Asgore, or no, I need to protect this kid from Asgore. Like, where do you guys fit in? That's all I'm saying. Pacifist will make you like the characters. Interesting observation you guys have there, Shuyan. Here's what I've got to say. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to ignore you, Ketchup. Yeah. See your point. Undertale's characters feel somewhat more profound and thoroughly thought out. In a way, I say Ketchup, they're more simple. Very easy to understand. They're like kind and caring to the extreme. Toriel, and then Sans, mean material. Papyrus, misunderstood, kind of stupid, but good at heart. Undy, hero to the underground level, but also a good person underneath. It's just to the extreme. Anyways, back to Shunyan's point where it says pacifist will make you like the characters. That's a great statement, but also it's also a statement that I have a problem with, because if you're gonna force me to play a certain route to like the characters, now to understand the story, that I understand, but to like the characters, that is not a good thing in my opinion. I have to play a certain way to like the characters. If I play a certain way to understand more of the story, like pacifist route with Alfie's lab, right? Then I understand. But if I had to play pacifist just to understand all the characters, all that, then it's kind of like, ugh. Pacifist and neutral are very similar in the OG. Well, in the original, I killed Torio, a couple of monsters, and then I did kill Undy. Because I realized, she's attacking me, so it's not like I want to kill her. And then after that, I didn't kill anyone. You didn't give a crap about Undy until pacifist? Actually, most... No. I cared about Torio. When I played neutral, I realized what I've done with Torio, because first of all, I didn't know sparing was part of the mechanic, and two, I didn't realize I actually killed her, because it was like through maybe halfway through her HP that the last strike killed her, and I really regret that decision. And also because I gave my reasoning for not trusting her in the beginning, because she's like overly kind and trying to keep me down here. It reminds me of a character or the main antagonist of a movie called Coraline. Kind of the same thing, where they trick children into their home and then, kill them or something like that. There you go. So that's the way I interpret it. It's like, you should be suspicious of characters that you met, strangers, as a kid, and you should be suspicious of people giving you candies. Kind of like that. It's just common sense. They don't do that much in the Undertale Yellow. Yeah. Well, like I said, going back, I didn't dislike any of the characters. I did say that Axis was kind of annoying, trying to chase me down and stuff. But eventually I will go back to this world, and I'll hold you to it, Shreddy, and everyone who is still praising this game by saying that, hey, you will literally cry in the pacifist route. I was like, well, okay, I got teary-eyed at the pacifist route. I don't know if I'll cry though. Dorky Metaton? Yeah. No, I understand. It's just that Metaton was so... Again, I don't have that much of an emotional attachment to Metaton, but he was kind of entertaining in a way. He's like sadistic, yet being entertaining at the same time. And that's just the way that I like Toby Fox's writing for these characters, where this one was not written by him, right? So there. Again, that's a high praise for me, because I don't cry, period, in video games. Not since I was little, I guess. But getting to be teary-eyed, upset, is already like a monumental success. That's what I'm trying to say. Undertale has all these cross-connections between characters, just overall feels whole and weaving together. Yeah. Makes sense. They all have a connection to you, the character. For Frisk, right? Flowey has a connection. Toria has a connection, as short as it was. But this one, not as much, I would say. Was there a big connection between Axis and Clover? I wouldn't say so. Mardley was probably the only one. Close at the end, the pacifist. It'll be real. I'm looking forward to it then, if that's the case. I am. But just, I need some time away from Undertale on this game, and then before I decide to go back. I'm just not in an urgency to go back. If anything, I have to give this game... I'm gonna stick by my score. It's a 7. It's a 7. 7 out of 10. Again, guys, don't think 7 for me is a bad score, because a lot of games that I rate that are average, I give it a 5. So people think that if I give it a 5, it's like a bad game. But no, it's like 5 is a normal. It's normal. 5 or 6, it's like average or above average. Okay? If I don't like a game, I'll easily give it out a 2 or a 3. Okay? So for right now, it's like, for Undertale, it's like 9, 9.5. But this one's like a 7. But I haven't finished the other 2 route yet. As for Deltarune, I gave it a 7.5. Again, it's not finished. I think some people are a little bit too generous with the scores. So when I say give Undertale like a 9, 9.5, that is extremely high praise. I still have never given any sort of game a 10. But 9, 9.5 is like as close as it can be. Because I don't think there's ever a perfect game in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Shrading. Is like, as of right now, I'm giving a score of 7. But then again, I still haven't finished Geno route or Pacifist route. I finished all 3 routes for Undertale. And the score remains around a 9, 9.5. Still very, very good. Incredibly good. So right now, this, I still give it a 7. Solid 7. But I can't go any higher than that. Not like a 7.5 or just a 7.